Now in this section, we'll explore file compression using the following commands, right? So the first one is tar, and then we'll look at gzip, zip and unzip, right? So we'll go through these 4 commands and we'll look at tar files, tar.gzip, and then we'll also look at zip files. All right. Now before we do that, I also want to introduce you to the sudo command, right? Sudo is super user do, right? That's what it stands for, and it is a prefix of commands that only super user or root users are allowed to run. Now it is similar to run as administrator option in Windows, right? And it is used to install, update and remove software. Now we'll use it in the next section to install and update some packages that we'll be using in the file compression section. Right, so let us start with the first command that will list all the installed packages, right? After that, we'll see how we can update the existing packages, how we can install new packages, how to remove existing packages, including the personalized settings, right? So remove will remove packages but will retain configurations, plugins and settings, and purge will remove packages including personalized settings, and sudo auto remove will remove any dependencies that are no longer in use, right? So let us try some of these commands. So we'll start with dpkg lists, right? So this will give you a list of all the packages that are installed, right? And in the next section, when we deal with zip files, we'll have to install the zip package, right? And what we'll do is we will use sudo to install the package. All right, and rest of them you can try them, right? Sudo update will update existing packages, remove or purge, as I said, will remove install packages, and auto remove will remove any dependencies that are no longer in use, right? So in this course we'll use the sudo install command to install some of the packages that we are going to use, right? So let us do that. I'll clear the, now we'll use sudo to install the zip package, right? And we'll use that for dealing with zip files, right? So let us do that. Sudo apt-get install zip, right? So it will ask you for the password, and that is the reason we said that unless you are a super user or someone with root access privileges, you will not be able to run the sudo command, right? You need to know the password, and when you're using RStudio Cloud, you will not be able to run sudo because there you don't have root privileges, so you'll not be able to run the sudo command, and you'll not be able to install or update packages because it will ask you for a password and you will not have the password, right? And here you can see that it is saying the following new packages will be installed, which is unzip and zip. So as we are installing zip, it is also installing unzip, so we don't have to separately install the unzip package, right? It will automatically do the installation. Now while it is installing, what we'll do is we'll take a look at the tar command, right? That is the first one that we are going to be using, right? The tar command is used for working with both tar and tar.gzip extension, that is tar.gz. So using this command, I can work with files with both files with both these extensions. Now what we'll do is, our goal here is to be able to list the files which are present in an archive, right? Then we should be able to extract the files, right, from that archive. We should be able to create a uncompressed tar archive, and we should be able to add a file to an existing archive, right? That is our goal. These are the 4 steps that we want to do, and if you see in the slide here, we also mapped it to the functions that are available in R, right? So you can use the untar function and the tar function from the utils package for most of these functions, for listing, extracting and creating the tar files or tar.gz archives, right? So you'll be able to use those functions. Now the tar command creates, maintains, modifies and extracts files that are archived in the tar format, okay? And tar stands for tape archive, and it is an archiving file format. Now let us go ahead and try some of these commands. Now if you look at the command in the first column, we have used tvf, xvf, cvf and rvf, right? That is to deal with tar archives. And if you have tar.gz, then we are adding a z at the end, right? It becomes tvfz, xvfz, cvfz and rvfz. Now I'll first talk about the v and f, which are common in all of these commands. V stands for verbosely show, right? So show what is happening, what is being archived, what is being decompressed, what is being extracted, right? And F stands for file name type of the archive file, right? So V stands for verbosely show the .tar file progress, and the F stands for file name type of the archive file, right? Those 2 options is common for all of the operations, while the specific ones, the option which is different is T, which is for listing, X is for extracting, C is for creating, and R is for adding files to an already existing archive, right? So V and F are common, but T, X, C and R are different. So T is for listing, X is for extracting, C is for creating and R is for adding, right? Now let us start with the tar files, right? We'll go to RStudio terminal, right? And if you look at the folders that we have, files and folders, we have release underscore names.tar, right? So it's present here, right? And what we'll do is we'll first list the files and folders which are present in this tar archive, right? So use the tar command, right? And since we are listing, it will be tvf, right? Because T is for listing, followed by the archive name, which is release underscore names.tar, right? So when I run this, it will show the files which are present in this tar archive, right? So use tvf to list the files and folders or directories present in the tar archive. Now if you want to extract, right, you want to extract the files from this tar archive, then you have to use the option xvf, right? And what we'll do is we'll use tar xvf release underscore names.tar, right? So it has now extracted 3 files: release underscore names.txt, release underscore names underscore 18.txt, and release underscore names underscore 19.txt or txt, right? Those are text files. So we know how to list the files and directories in a tar archive. We also know how to extract them. Now let us see how to create a tar archive, right? What we'll do is we'll remove this tar archive that we have here, right? We'll use rm, okay, and we'll remove this tar archive. Let us see how it works. Right now, if I list the files and folders, you don't see the tar archive. Right, so I'm going to create tar archive using cvf. Okay, first we'll specify the name of the archive, which will be release underscore names dot tar, and now the files that we are going to use. So I'm just going to use one file here. You can use multiple files. I just use the release underscore name dot txt file, and I'll create this archive. Right, let us list now. So you can see the tar archive that has been created. Right, release underscore names dot tar. Right, and we created it from release underscore names dot txt file. So use the cvf option when you are creating a tar archive. And now if you want to add files to an existing tar archive, so we have already created this release underscore names dot tar. Right, now I want to add a couple of files, which is again release underscore names underscore 18 and release underscore names underscore 19 to this tar archive. Right, so we'll use the option rvf, first the name of the tar archive that is already there, right, which is release underscore names dot tar. Sorry, it is release. I have made a mistake in the spelling, so it is release underscore names dot tar, and we'll add these two files, release underscore names underscore 18, right, and release underscore names underscore 19.txt. Right, so there is an tar archive which is release underscore names dot tar, and I'm adding these two files to that tar archive. Right, let us run this. Right, so it shows the names of the files that have been added. Let us anyway list the files that are there in this archive now, and we'll use the tvf option, and let me just change this to release. Right, so now you can see the three files. The first one with which we created the tar archive, and then we added the other two files, which are release underscore names 18 and release underscore names 19. Okay, so that shows how to deal with tar archives. Now when you have tar.gz, that is tar.gzip archives, just add a z to the end. So tvf becomes tvfz, xvf becomes xvfz, cvf becomes cvfz, and rvf becomes rvfz. Right, so I'll leave it as a practice assignment for you to list, extract, create, and add files to tar.gz file. So you have this file here, release underscore names dot tar.gz. So you can try those options with that archive. Right, now we'll move on, right, and go to the next set of commands, which is gzip, zip, and unzip. Right, now gzip, gunzip, and zcat commands are used to compress or expand files in the GNU gzip format, that is files with the .gz extension. Right, and first we'll work with this extension, that is .gz extension, and then we'll work with the .zip extension. Right, so let us compress, right, and create a .gz extension file. Right, so use gzip followed by the name of the file. So again I'm going to use release underscore names dot txt. Right, and this should create a file with release underscore names.txt dot gz extension. Right, so here you can see release underscore names dot txt dot gz. Right, so using gzip you can compress and create files with dot gz extension, and if you want to decompress then you can use the gzip command along with the D option. Right, so we have this file here which is september underscore 15 dot csv dot gz. Right, so let us extract the csv file by decompressing this particular file. Go to gzip, use the D option which is for decompress, then you specify the name of the file with the with .gz extension. Right, so let me run ls now, and you can see we have sept underscore 15.csv. Right, it used to be sept underscore 15.csv.gz. Then we use gzip command along with the D option to decompress it. Now you can see the file which is sept underscore 15.csv. While compressing, if you want to specify the file name, then you can use the C option. Right, so now in this command we'll specify the file name as well. Right, I'm going to use release.txt and I'm going to give it a new name while we create the file with .txt .gz extension. Right, so we'll use C option, then you have release.txt and I'll make it my release.txt.gz. Right, if we don't give any of this option, it will create a file with release.txt.gz extension. Right, instead of that I want to specify the file name, so I use the C option. Right, so let me run ls to see that file. Right, so here you can see we have my release.txt.gz. Right, now we'll move on to zip files, those files with the extension .zip. Right, so zip creates zip archives while unzip will list and extract compressed files in a zip archive. Right, so we'll start off with listing the files which are there in a .zip archive. Right, let me clear this. Right, so we have zip underscore example.zip here, and we also have main underscore project.zip. Right, so we have two .zip archive files here. Let us start with main underscore project.zip. Right, so I'll use unzip command, and to list all the files and directories I'll use the L option followed by the name of the zip archive. Right, so here it shows you all the files and folders or directories that are present in the main underscore project.zip file. Right, so use unzip along with the L option to list all the files and directories. Now if you want to extract them, that is you want to extract all of these files and directories, you can use unzip. Right, so unzip, and then this time I'll work with the zip underscore example file. Right, zip underscore example dot zip. Right, so it shows the archive, and then it is creating zip underscore example directory, and it has two files, bash.sh and package underscore names.txt. Right, so if I run ls, now I should be able to see the folder zip underscore example. Right, so we just extracted the files and directories from zip underscore example.zip archive, and it is now available in zip underscore example directory. Now using the D option we can extract the contents of a zip archive to a specific folder. Right, So what we'll do is we'll run the previous command, right? And then using the D option, I'll specify that the files in zip underscore example zip archive should be extracted to the my examples directory, right? Let me run this. Right now it shows creating my examples, right? It created a directory called my examples, and within that it created zip underscore example directory, right? And then you have those two files. So if I run ls, we should be able to see my examples folder or directory here, right? And if I run ls on my examples, you can see the zip underscore example directory there. So use the D option if you want to extract the files and directories to a separate directory. Now if you want to compress files or directories into a zip archive, you have to use the R option, right? So I will compress the my project directory into a zip archive. We'll use zip, the R option, name of the zip archive, right? I'll call it my project.zip, and it will compress the my project directory, right? So here it shows what all directories and files are being added to this zip archive, right? So if you run ls, you can see the archive here, right? My project.zip. So use the R option when you're creating a zip archive. And you can also compress multiple directories, right, using zip. The name of the directories must be separated by a space, right? So let us create another zip archive, but this time instead of using a single directory, I will use two directories, right? I'll call this packproj.zip because I'll use two directories. The first one is my package, the second one is my project, right? And you can see the directory names are separated by a space. Right, so it has added all the files and directories from both my package and my project. Let us see if that has been created, right? So here you can see packproj.zip, right? This is something that we just created. And what about adding files to an existing zip project, right? Adding files to an existing zip archive, we can do that using zip command itself, right? So we have my project.zip, right? Let us see what is there in that archive. Sorry, I should have run unzip. I ran the ls command, so this will be unzip l and my project.zip, right? So it has all these files and directories. Now I will add the bash.sh file, that is the bash script, to this archive, right? So I'll use zip followed by the zip archive name, which is my project, and then the file that we are adding to this archive, right, which is bash.sh. So it shows adding bash.sh. Let me clear this and let us run this again. Now you can see that bash.sh has been added, right? So that file has been added to the zip archive, right? And in R we have the zip package, right, which will work with .zip archives, and for gzip, that is .gz extension files, you can use the tar and untar function from the utils package, right? We have added links to all these packages in the learning management system as well as in the blog, so you can explore these packages as well. You might find them useful when you're working in R on a different project, right? So just to revise, you have the tar command to deal with both tar archive and tar.gz archives. So use tvf to list, xvf to extract, cvf to create, and rvf to add. And then you can use zip and unzip to deal with zip archives, and you can use gzip to deal with gzip archives, right? So remember these commands, you'll find them useful, and also keep in mind the associated R functions, right, from the zip package and the utils package. So that brings us to the end of the section on file compression. In the next section, we'll quickly look at how to get information about the system, right? So that is the system info section.